Ladies and gentlemen, you are now listening to the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. Cross the line in 3, 2, 1.
There we go, testing 1, 2, 3. We got it working. What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 136 of the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. My name is Geoff, and alongside me again is the slapjack to my big teats. It's Lucha, everybody. What's going on, Lucha?
I'm just mad I'm not bad dude Tito, but what's happening, everybody?
You want to be big teats?
Hell yeah, I'll be big teats. Come on.
Scratch that, rewind. Let's do it again. All right, yeah. You can be big teats. I'll be slapjack. No, man. We got some interesting stuff to talk about, man.
It was a very interesting, 3-4 days?
Yeah, it felt like it was boom, boom, boom of just shit. And some worked out, some we'll talk... Well, we're going to talk about it all, but we'll see. We'll see where we think it actually goes, if some of it was planned or not. Put our tinfoil hats on and talk about that, as we usually do when you're in the building, man. Talk about our theories and stuff. And we'll also try to book how we can do Rebellion and beyond and still stick with our Team Canada shtick. I think the writing's on the wall. But what's going on, guys? Thank you for tuning in. Numbers are up all around. I thank you. Dropping shit here, including twitch.tv/TNAIWChannel, where we do this live every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. So thank you for that. Nice to see you guys. Hopefully the chat lights up. But regardless, from GoGoPowerRankings, from this show as well, you know him. It's Lucha. He's here. And I don't want to overload you with Power Rankings talk. What's up, Io? Family's all coming on. But we're going to get to Power Rankings first. I'm no kayfabe, pull the curtain behind. You just you just taped the show. But without going too far into it, what were you looking forward to on this one?
I was just hoping that the streak would live on.
I know.
Yeah, it's like that.
Teardrop. Pour one down, man. 49 weeks Josh was on there?
This would have been 51.
Oh, this would have been 51, so we were 2 away from a year.
Yeah.
Oh, well, if we had the budget, maybe you could throw us some. We would play the Canadian national anthem. We'll put our hands up. And more.
Yeah, we gotta talk to Scott when it's time to negotiate for LOL TNA season 3.
Yeah, we'll get the 10 bell for Josh's nearly 52-week reign. But despite that, let's get to it. Let's check it out.
Number 10, Busted Open Bully Ray. Number 9, French Canadian Frankenstein PCO. Number 8, World Champion Mickie James. Number 7, Speedball Mike Bailey. Number 6, Digital Media Champion Joe Hendry. Number 5, the Luchosa Diana Purrazzo. Number 4, Tag Team Champions Bullet Club. Number 3, X Division Champion Trey Miguel. Number 2, number 1 contender Steve Maclin. Number 1, Kushida, Sabin, and Shelly Time Machine.
That too.
All right, so we won't talk too much, we won't elaborate too much, but if you want to be part of these Power Rankings, you want to make a difference, every Thursday after the show, before Sunday at noon p.m. Eastern, hit us up at Burt Maclin 11 or at TNAIWChannel on Twitter. Jump in there, put your thing in, peace out, and then see the results here. I will say, and yes, I should have came through with the Josh vote just out of pure... sadness. Respect. We'll use that word. But man, even Scott D'Amore, that was the one that I was like, which one do I go on? And Scott should have made this damn list for that pile driver, or the Canadian Destroyer.
Dude, I popped hard for that shit.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit, oh no, yes, okay, boom. And then the crowd went, man, it was such an old TNA moment. I know we'll get to it.
Oh, Canada!
Oh, Canada! What a great call by Tom and Matt. And then just the crowd behind it just felt so old TNA where the crowd's just jumping up as the moves hit, man. Such a cool moment. All we need is, who was it? Rudy Charles jumping in the air before the move happens.
And SoCal Val on the outside just clapping.
Oh, yeah. What's going on, Millard? My connection is terrible. Been trying to get here since the start of the show. It's all right. We had some problems. It's probably us, to be honest. The Power Rankings title went up.
There's a whole lot of rigmarole going on.
There was things going on. But speaking of that, that's actually a beautiful segue. I won't waste any more time or your guys' time or Lucha's time. Technical difficulties. I'm going to tell you, as soon as I don't know if you watched the Countdown show, but as soon as I turned on the Countdown show, my asshole almost went through my mouth. I was like, it started, okay, we're counting it down. It was black screen. I was like, oh, no. I had my friend over, too, who doesn't watch Impact on the regular, and I'm like, oh, let's watch, I was like, but it kicked in. We went to the live crowd and technical difficulties. Although they reared their head during the bully match a little bit, weren't that bad, so. But damn, man, that scared me, man.
I didn't even catch the joint during the bully match.
Well, you had to watch it.
I did. I went back. I rewatched the show. I did. I suffered through that shit.
I went back and watched all of them as well. That block of 3, which we'll get to. Actually 4. PCO through. I don't know. We'll talk about it all. But either way, we get past that, and we start off with a match that wasn't pre-announced. It's Eddie Edwards, and he's coming out, and he's facing Bhupinder Gujjar, man. And Eddie's going to pick up the win with the Boston Knee Party. Canadians here going 0-1 so far to start. We're going to keep a Canadian track. We had the budget. Ding. There you go. 0-1.
Maple Leaf tracker.
But yeah, good to get Eddie in the win column. Show the franchise's face. And then Boopy and his fur jacket, man. It's just time, Lucha. He's got to get that Rolex. It's about time. But thoughts on this? Man. Did you catch the countdown?
Yeah, I caught the countdown. I was actually rather entertained with this match. When he came out in that jacket, I'm like, oh man, I'm about to be 2 for 2. I already got the Raj, and now we on the road to Sheik freaking Rollins. Like that looks just like his jacket.
He's had that for a hot second, but it just feels the timing of all this is, anyways. But good here. No harm, no foul in his loss. I mean, there's nothing really. Yeah. He's come up with, but he's not like he needs that shtick, that storyline. And we know where it should go. But we move on because Gia's backstage. We already mentioned the crowd, but the crowd was into it from the get. Looked cool, man. Could have been mic'd up better for sure, but, it was mic'd up enough to get some FU bullies, which was nice during that match. A lot of them, actually. Gujjar and Raj both getting makeovers. Yep, too close to, but we'll see. But next up, Gia's backstage. She's with Frankie and Rich, and I like this, man, because they're talking about, obviously got to connect the Josh thing here. But Maclin he doesn't step in here, does he? I have his name for some reason. Oh, the video package. Let me give a shout out to that. There was that video package for Sacrifice, and it kind of did like the build up to the match that was, and then they added just the mayhem for all at all. What a nice little tweak. If we'll put our tinfoil hats on later, but if this is, he got injured, and God bless Josh, hope he's great. But so simple of an addition at the end there just to make it all work. So I like that. But past Frankie and Rich, because this isn't where they talk to him, right? Don't they talk to him later? Before
I thought it was here.
I think they talked to him twice. Frankie, Swan, and Maclin backstage without Gia. Yeah, okay, yeah. So it's just Frankie and Rich at the beginning. But next we're going to get right into the match of Kylan King versus Rosemary. So former Knockouts Tag Team Champions and current Knockouts Tag Team Champions. I said this last week. How do you feel about the longest reigning female Knockouts Tag Team Champions spiel?
I mean, it's ridiculous. It really is, but it's also necessary because you look at the stats. You know what I'm saying?
Look at the
stats. It's both. I can't be mad at it.
Yeah, I get it.
And then with this match here, it was actually funny how it looks like we continue the string of former champ, tag champ losing a solo match. You know what I'm saying? Like the champs are eating a lot of non-title losses.
Yeah, I think that's we're a victim to needing to build contenders. So we're getting people over quickly with non-title wins. And in this case, I wasn't mad at it. She's the newbie. We get one to the Canadian side. Rosemary picking up the win here, so we're 1-1. But the silver lining of this is you got two formidable tag teams once again. I feel like we've always done that. We've got like two formidable ones, inspiration, influence, and then something happens. And this feels like the first time like we might be able to, and I don't want to jinx it, but we got two tag teams. We don't want to jump ahead too far, but our theory of bringing in some fresh faces to fill in with some people we already have on the roster to make some more looks like it's possible with Jody Threat coming into play. But I feel like right here we got two stable tag teams, which I dig.
And then I'm also, again, not to skip too far ahead, but I'm looking at two other tag teams that competed on the main show in a singles match. The Deonna Giselle one.
Oh, right.
There's two tag teams I see within that match there that, they're on that. If you don't need them to be in the division, but if you gotta put them in, then
Yeah, no, I like that, and that's a great way to say it because Giselle and Savannah won't necessarily team on the reg. Like that's not gonna be an everyday thing. But as far as hey, we need a fourth team in this thing or whatever it is, they're always gonna be at least acknowledged because they're a unit. I like that, and maybe Tasha and Savannah or Tasha and Deonna. We'll see where that goes, but we'll jump. We won't
Jersey shit.
But either way, man, yeah, Jersey shit. It came to fruition, man. But yeah, I like this. They're continuing the whole magic thing. They're kind of saying that maybe the Coven's behind Taya's, but I think there's a different someone else pulled her in that coffin. If I'm not mistaken, that looked like someone else's hand.
Maybe the Coven summoned her.
Oh, now we're talking. See, if we have to use this as a blanket to just rejuvenate or shoot it in the arm to make multiple tag teams, so be it. Because we're going to see the Death Dolls here still looking the part as a tag team. And I see Havoc, even if she goes back to just Havoc, she could easily still be with Rosemary. Decay is just on full force again. So, cool countdown here. And shout out to Pops Cannabis in Canada, because that guy was behind the commentator and trying to get it over. So, to our 158 people watching.
Did they snatch the shirt?
Oh, did they?
Because I saw him, holding the shirt up, and I saw it put it down, but then it just fucking vanished. I didn't see him put it away or whatever, so I didn't know if it got taken by security.
it was Tom.
But shout out to Pops Cannabis.
Yeah, shout out to Pops Cannabis.
Darren McCarty was looking at us like, I'm gonna check y'all out.
Yeah, I need some of that shit after this table spot. We start the show off with round 2 of these epics between Mike Bailey and Gresham, and they give them nearly 20 minutes here, man. And I bow to this. This is good stuff in the chat. We'll get to that in just a moment. But man, if they go best of 7 like people are preaching, I'm all for it. They're 1-1. They're even now. I said it I'm not gonna say when we'll manifest it. Team Canada happens and Bailey's a part of it. They're gonna need built-in feuds for people to take on that group. Gresham is gonna be one of them. 20-minute classic here. Canadians go up 2-1 on the night. Your thoughts on this match? I obviously can tell how you're feeling, but damn, man. Golly.
The thing I love about watching John Gresham matches is you gotta watch his joints differently because he just wrestles differently. If your finisher is a choke slam and when you put your hand like this, you see like a vein or whatever that pops out. John Gresham's the type of cat that'll spend 15 minutes of offense on this vein.
Yeah.
I was trying
to tell Fred about it. I was like, I grew up the way I grew up. So getting an action figure was was a big deal. And, my guys didn't articulate shit. They were you know what I mean? But you had those friends who had the ones that had 82 points of articulation and focus on that was John Gresham when he was young, playing with those things. But man, yeah, dude is just different level. Bailey the same, and to have them both in a match, I said this last week, no matter who they're against, even if their opponent is, lesser or equal or much lesser, they're always elevating these dudes. And to have them in 2 matches, or in 1 match here, both dudes who elevate people, you're going to get a banger, and that's what we got, man. Seeing a lot of great stuff here. Scott Steiner would be proud of the show. Speedball versus Gresham, best going forward. So Millard's on pace there. And the New Jersey Triad. Hey, Jersey.
Yeah, if we can find
child.
a third Jersey girl.
Who would that be? We don't have any.
I don't think there's one there currently. We'd have to find one from somewhere. But like a New Jersey Triad, that would be dope.
I'm for it. Look, I love that Deanna. Well, let's not get too far ahead. We'll get to all them. But sticking with Bailey and Gresham, great, classic, no complaints here. Let's get that best of 7. And they'll come out later for that moment with Scott. They'll be part of the face group, so we'll touch on them again later. But the series between them, 1-on-1, we'll see if it continues. Next up, Gia's with Brian Myers backstage. And he's talking about his match he's going to get against Joe Hendry next. Moose is going to pop in, and Moose is being booked like his contract's running up. He's just popping in places and doing matches, but knock on wood, we'll see where that goes. But either way, Moose is banned from ringside. Basically told the plot, Batman villain that shit. Santino overheard, said no, and banned him from ringside. So we're going to get Brian Myers straight up versus Joe Hendry. Before we get to that, Lucha, the tradition rolls on. We've had headlines, or what was it, taglines. We've had X Factors, a mistailed tape, and now we have fight bites in honor of the Digital Media Championship. I know you popped for that.
Hard.
Yeah, man, good shit.
I loved it.
Ooh, KC Spinelli is from Jersey originally. Okay. Old.
And is she Canadian too?
Ashley Dembois is from Jersey. Who knows? Really?
Isn't she all elite?
Canadian, right? Are they all Canadian? I don't know. Everyone's Canadian to me if they work well.
I thought Dembois was all elite.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, she was offered a contract. I don't know if she signed, but. But we get fight bites here, and they're going to tell the story between Joe Hendry and Brian Myers. And Joe Hendry coming out first. I like this because even though champions should never come out first, it makes sense when the guy's going to take the mic and the Brian Myers doesn't have to stand there with his hands in his ass, just waiting to, whatever. So I liked it for that. He's coming out. He's being topical, with Harry and Meghan. It is what it is. Once again, it being a face and being comedic is hard. I think they were oversaturating him for a little bit with this and that and them talking and all that. But and we talked about this. I think you were on you're coming up on Hendry, right? You're being a believer, and I was already there, but like plateauing. Yeah.
So now we've kind of met and almost we're almost at the same spot because I like Joe when Joe's doing diss songs, like
okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if Joe was just doing diss songs to everybody he fought, then, you know what I'm saying, that'd be my dude by now. But the promos is just...
Yeah, it's Gertnery. It's Joel Gertner without the R rating, right?
Yeah.
I remember before he came out and he would do something topical and he'd talk about all the movies. And it is what it is. You got to figure out a way to work in his thing when you're not going to produce a song every week. So I get that. You're going to want to have him talk. But he's figuring it out, man. I'm gonna say that, like... He's obviously hitting the gym. Dude looks like a champion. He's definitely gonna be a future world champion in some capacity, man. Or when, I don't know. At some time. But right now, I think he needs that belt, and it works for him. Keep coming out there, still working with people. Because wrestling-wise, I think he, it needs to work on that as well. Not like he's bad by any means. I don't want to make this the Joe Hendry whatever hour. Happy to have him on board. But I think they're still working to fine-tune him, I guess. I thought the last few weeks has been good.
You think maybe it might be his style versus he's a comedy guy who's also like a powerhouse.
Right.
So that's kind of weird to get over. Like, that's why when Big Show was always kind of like comedy act style, Big Show wasn't really Big Show. It was just kind of mid.
I think that's fair because I think he's good at a lot of things he does. Like, is he good at the comedy stuff? Yes. Is he good on the mic? Yes. Is he good at wrestling? Yes. But to find that thing to put it all together to make him great, I think that's going to take a little peppering and seasoning, and it's just going to take a little time. But he's over, and that's a damn good place to start. Don't want him not on the screen. I mean, but I think this is a case where he needs that belt still, and he's gonna pick up the win here and keep that belt after the standing ovation against Brian Myers. So right now the belt is making the man. Eventually, I think he'll make the belt. But overall, your thoughts on the match?
To go back to you when in the beginning when you're talking about Hendry coming out first as the champ, that's what I like to call the New Age Outlaw effect.
Okay.
You know,
yeah.
New Age Outlaws almost always came out first, even if they were champs, because come on.
Yeah, it's the perfect spot to someone to get hyped and get the faces over before. Yeah.
Exactly. The match was actually pretty darn good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need people to stop disrespecting my man Brian Myers, and just. I don't feel like Brian Myers is getting like his proper flowers,
like in the internet world, like in the communities.
Yeah,
I think so.
You know what I'm saying?
I think that's fair because to appreciate Brian Myers, I think not only do you have to watch on the regular, but
you got to see where we've come from.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. I just think the most professional wrestler thing. It's there's big things in the little things. Like his booking isn't always going to be where he's winning all the time or champion all the time or anything where, maybe involved in the big storyline, but he's a glue dude who fits and does what he's supposed to do and just entertains on the regular. So I get it, but surface value, you got to get past
he's almost like he's borderline lower card Eddie Edwards. Like he's the Eddie Edwards of the opening, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, I can see where you're going. I can see you're going with that, but I see some things about the DMC title in there. Yeah, I like, once again, there was people trying to throw it out 2 weeks into having it. Once again, I was with someone watching it, and he couldn't get over how beautiful that belt was, which was cool. But yeah, the digital media title, loved it.
All right,
I like it too, man. I'm not gonna lie. The gold that they splashed on it too, it looks really nice. All their belts are very pretty, but overall, I really like it. He liked it as well, but. I don't know where it's going, but either way, DMC title, I like where it's at, and we'll continue to build it. I'm glad it's still there. We get fight bites out of it. Happy to have it. And once again, that's what the purpose of these belts are. We've always been clamoring for a belt that prepares people for that next step. This is preparing Joe Hendry for the inevitable, which we know he has the talent. We know he has the charisma. He has all that stuff. Just got to put it together and get the right storyline, and there we go. So.
Here, real quick, before we move on from the DMC, do you think we get another female champ?
In time, I'm sure it could work. I mean, I believe Jordan to be around for the long haul, man. It works with what she wants to do outside of this as well. If I didn't know any better, I could say maybe they were okay with Mickie and her not going at Sacrifice so she could prepare for her lifting thing. I don't know. So with that being said, I just think Jordan's always was a winner, can always be a contender for it. And with the right storyline, I think you could work someone back in there.
Giselle Shaw.
Yeah, Joe makes Hendry. Sense.
Okay.
Yeah, especially with the digital media moniker, I think there's a lot of ways you can work around that. And it doesn't mean necessarily that they're not, that they're going to go to the World Championship next, but it doesn't mean they can't go to the Knockouts World Title next. You know what I mean? So there's ways around it. But keep going here. We're going to Gia's backstage with Mickie and Santino, as we already kind of alluded to and talked about. Shout out. I'm not sure if it was the guy, but I'm pretty sure it is. Xylot Themes. I'm pretty sure that's the guy. But he had the Joe Hendry head. And I said it for a while. Joe Hendry, to make his new shirt, shouldn't be that logo. It should just be his head. Everyone should just be wearing his head on shirts. And so shout out to that dude. But we continue, and Mickey's got a broken rib. Jordan warned her not to have that match with Masha and Bully, and yet she took it. So it just feels poetic. Like all of this was meant to happen, not to take injuries lightly. But tinfoil hat, really smooth transition here. Now, the way it breaks down is Jordan is going to Rebellion no matter what. The winner at Multiverse gets to go to Rebellion no matter what. But if Mickie miraculously, well, no, it's only a broken rib. She could be good in a couple months. Or not even. It's like a couple months. It's 2 weeks, excuse me.
2 3 weeks.
3 weeks. If she's better on a broken rib, once again, we don't know when the broken rib happened. If it happened in that match, they taped that match when. So, you know what I mean? It could be a lot of time. She could be halfway healed by now, and by, this time for Rebellion, she'll be good. But if so, she'll be added to the third match there. What's that?
Maybe the same with Josh.
Not for Rebellion, no. That thing's a 6-week.
Well, not for Rebellion, but like as far as whenever the injury took place, like
right. Oh, we don't know where he's at in his process. Yeah. Because there are some weird things Tinfoil hat we'll talk about flying and being in. Yeah, we'll talk about it. Got surgery really quick and booked it, but
telling you.
I know, we'll talk about it. But either way, Mickie, regardless, I don't think she gives up the belt. I think she'll be part of that three-way, and I think the poetic part of this will be Masha, Jordan, and her. It just makes too much sense, and once again, it makes too much sense. Like, how did this happen? Is this another pivot because of something else going on or not going on? I don't know. The question when we get into those things, though, is would they really jeopardize, not jeopardize the relationship with New Japan, but jeopardize that card for the sake of storyline? And maybe twice, I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts? You think she'll be ready for Rebellion? I think so. I think we're going to see Jordan, Masha, and her. You're there? Yeah. All right. Continuing on is going to be Giselle Shaw, and she's coming with her entourage, and Savannah Evans. Savannah Evans with the bodyguard look, man. I like that. Give her a style makeover there, and then even though I thought last week too, like before she changed the look with that leopard thing, the whole gear, someone must have been telling everybody to up their game on gear because everyone's looking good.
Look, respectfully, I'm very ashamed at the Impact camera crew from Sacrifice because they were doing a very good job making sure you didn't see the view. Respectfully.
Of
Savannah. Like they kept it
okay.
Waist up.
Really?
They were working overtime.
Heard.
They were working overtime.
Heard. But before we get too far into the TNAIW After Dark, Deanna's going to pick up the win here with the Venus de Milo, so Canadians 2-2 if you're keeping track. But a good match here, man. Once again, match after match of good stuff. Entertaining wrestling, man. And Deanna picks up the win. And before she can celebrate, Savannah does attack. I know you said it took a little bit. I went back and watched it. It wasn't as bad. It wasn't as long. I think it's because we wanted Tasha. We knew she was coming. However you want to word it. We were like, anticipating it. But eventually her music plays. She comes dancing out like she's Jeff Hardy about to save Matt Hardy.
Telling you.
And when she gets her, now technically she's trying to play off. She's not saving Deanna. But they do the back and forth. And it's I think part of it, maybe why it felt long, I don't know if this is the part that felt long to you, it was just they were telling a whole story in a matter of like 1 minute. They had to get it all in there. I'm turning on you. We're cool. We're not cool. Savannah's no bitch. You know what I mean? Like it was like she didn't just take the punch and was like, oh. So
yeah.
I thought it was a nicely told story. It adds once again. Do we get Jersey Triad? I don't know. But either way, we get Savannah and Giselle. We get Deanna and Tasha. Hey, 2 more tag teams. Even if it doesn't last, I'm cool with it. But Tasha gets her moment. Her and Deanna stand tall. But I have to give my shout out to Jay Vidal, man, for selling the shit because, first Tasha comes back, she's hyped, she's got to do whatever. But if he doesn't take those moves like he did, I don't know if the crowd erupts like when, they erupted for her, Tasha. But that DDT and then the, out to the ring, man. Kudos to him for selling the shit out of that. Your thoughts on the whole situation, man, from match to Tasha's return?
This was actually one of my low-key favorite matches on the whole card. Like, I love the starting sequence. It reminded you that Deanna's one of the best technical wrestlers in the game, and that Giselle Shaw ain't no goddamn slouch either. So, you know what I'm saying? It was a good little reminder of exactly who the hell y'all were about to watch.
Yeah.
And so, good little pace starter for the knockouts. Cool with the win. Love that Deonna brought back to Venus de Milo. That move just looks so fucking raunchy. Oh, man. Like that. Oh, God. That's on my list of moves I'm not taking.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it was a good match, good showing. Love Tasha coming back. Love the Jersey connection. Rebellion, I smell a tag match.
You smell? Yeah, it's got to come on the tapings or something. Once again, spoiler free.
Countdown to Rebellion.
Oh yeah,
I'll give it that.
Want to hit up everybody that's saying, I say, Critical Sting, what's going on, buddy? Jay is a professional salesman. His first night sold EY's pile driver, RVD style. Yeah. RK Shuttlesworth, I'm mostly lurking. Hey, what's up, buddy? Friday Night Wrestling drained me a lot of wrestling. And Millard saying, Jeff, are you surprised that Impact didn't have an interim champion filling in for Josh? We'll talk about that, but no, I don't think they were gonna pull the Tony here, even though our boss kind of did, but in a better way, I think. Yeah, man. Look, I'm glad you said that because one, I'm all over the place. Two, I'm not used to obviously doing this with the partner lately, but you got to give the flowers to Deonna. She is on that Bayley Gresham vibe that I was talking about earlier, where and maybe, I don't know why we forget sometimes. Kind of like Eddie. I think we just take stuff for granted, or maybe they're in the shadows a little bit, not really in the forefront for whatever reason, contract or not, or storyline or not, injury or not. But to see her shine like that, it's nice to see that, 'cause she is a foundation piece here, man. She's a damn action figure, so let her get her. Loved it. Let's keep moving on because next up, not a classical your traditional wrestling match here. Or a masterpiece in that regard. But Kenny King versus PCO. And look, I don't know. I'm going to say what I have to say first because I know where your head's at sometimes with PCO. So I keep putting over the fact I love the fact that we have a monster, a character on the show. We've had a great lineage of that from Abyss to Judas Messias to Black Rain and Relic and all those people that popped up through the years. It's kind of been in the fabric of TNA/Impact Wrestling. So for that, I love it. The aesthetics, I love it. As far as, look, you're going to have to wrestle a certain kind of match to make this work with PCO on the regular. Let's call a spade a spade. I love PCO. Obviously, we'll hear your point in a second. But I wanted to throw this on you and let me see what you're thinking. Someone's got to take up the mantle of the Monsters Ball guy. We know PCO's limitations, age, and the up and down the road and banging and bruising, man. Still putting on good stuff. He does the spots, all that stuff. But maybe this is a time where maybe he picks up that mantle and goes with it to kind of, hide maybe the ECW way of booking, if that makes sense. At the same time, I do want to mention one thing before I kick it over. The Malfunction, the first time I watched it was like, okay, sure. The second time listening to commentary, they threw a lot of things out about, well, it hasn't been since Honor No More, since someone was trying to handle him, since trying to change his psyche. So interesting little nugget there that I noticed as well. Is Vincent coming back? Does he have someone trying to control him again? Something to keep our eye on. But Lucha, I pass it to you.
Wouldn't it be crazy if Father James Mitchell got his hands on him?
I would love it. Could you imagine? I don't know about a new church, but he talked about Havoc, and he has some Havoc business to take care of. Wonder if we do that. I don't know, man. I'm all for the old IPs, but
PCO, Havoc, Su Yung, just running roughshod over the whole roster.
I'm not going to argue with that.
I'm with you on bringing back old IPs because it's like, I mean, it's the New Japan formula, you know what I'm saying? That's what they did to get really back popping, from Chaos to TDMK, Bullet Club, all 50 billion stables they have.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? And with Impact having so much history and so many dope stables throughout the past, we might as well just have gang warfare. I feel like I've said this like every time I'm on here because it's just that great of an idea.
It is, and it also, look, it's not a slap in the face, or it's not meant to be a negative when I say it like this. The ECW style, you hide the people's flaws and you accentuate their positives. And when you have the warfare, you might have someone who's not all the way peppered in character and stuff and can jump into a group, you know, or you could easily get someone in like a Rook, like Kylan King, and give her a gimmick right away. And okay, she's with this, but we could develop her later or whatever. These are good things, you know, crutches, yes, but entertaining ones nonetheless. And as you said, we just have so much dope history that would be just a cool little nugget. And, you know, look, I love PCO. I mention that all the time, but a spade is a spade. Dude's in his 50s. He works an insane style. It's got to be nurtured, and it's got to be that. And I think him taking up Monsters Ball and being part of that would be sick, poetic. Be poetic, but either way, Kenny King's still looking like a star, man. Here, wearing the Honor No More shirt, walking like Honor No More, doing the Scott Hall walk. Yeah, I love it, man. Love it.
Kenny's on the best run, like arguably of his career, like as far as character work goes.
Yeah, I'm there with you, man.
Just man can't miss.
I'll leave it at that. But Canadians up 3-2 here. And speaking Canadians, man, I almost I didn't lose it here, but I saw the diamond tattoo on someone's knuckle. That's what I saw next, and I thought for some reason your girl was back. But no, it was not. It was Jody Threat. I'm honestly not too familiar. Don't know if she's here for the loop of Canada. She seemed to be a Canadian product. That's what I know. But your thoughts? Do you know anything prior of her? You're just seeing her as you see her.
I mean, I've seen the name like a lot. You know what I'm saying, through Canadian indies. Like even before the whole thing happened, I think she was the one who Athena like beat the piss out of on AEW one week, and everyone was all up in arms about that. Okay, because she was. I think that was her.
People were anticipating her getting at least some shine. Is that what the?
I don't know what they were. I think it was just how stiff Athena was.
Oh yeah, I kind of okay. I remember that.
And then I also remember the name from. See, I'm an Impact Plus Day One guy when they had all the indie companies on there, and I would watch like Smash Wrestling and shit. Okay. So I've seen Jody Threat fight multiple times, like out there.
So who do you? Here's the question. I'll leave that on. Who do you think? Because look, we talked about it with Kylan King, kind of just putting someone with someone who's established on the roster and making them a formidable tag team right away. I don't know if that's the route they go with her. Who do you think she fits more with? Is she fit more with Masha or more with Killer Kelly? Maybe someone that ilk.
Looking solely at the promos, like their entry promos, it seems like she's more fit with Kelly. Except it's like because Jody's promo video was pretty much the same thing, but during the daytime. Okay, so then they meet up at 7:30, 7:45. You know, when the sun starts.
Cooking rats in her hotel room or whatever Killer Kelly was doing.
Hey, she had to get the fire and lighters from somewhere. Jody Threat comes in the room, just hands her a gang of shit. It's like, all right, so whose ass are we kicking tonight? And, you know what I'm saying, just go from there. Like, give me those promos, give me those vignettes, dirty hotel.
She was entangled. With them. She was entangled with the tag teams as well. Like, Killer Kelly was just a victim of the Coven.
She hasn't got her comeuppance yet.
There we go. So that does make sense. I like it. But let me know what you guys think. Are you guys familiar with her? Seeing some great stuff. Critical Sting. Everything but immortal. Right there with me. I actually had a immortal reference for later in the night, but let's keep moving on. We'll get to that. Frankie Swan. So this is the one I was mentioning before. Frankie and Swan are just talking. They're getting ready for whatever. And then Maclin comes in. This is where Rich says, which I think this is a great little promo here. That also just seems so poetic that Maclin fits in here. Like, they take Josh out, and what does Rich say? Oh, hey, this is what you wanted the whole time. Could it be just this is them thinking on their heels and making things work? If it is, kudos, but this just felt organic and it felt like it was supposed to happen. But he comes in here and he's now the tag team partner. And all I got, first of all, Maclin on the mic keeps getting better and better. I don't know if who's producing him or just him on his own, man. He continuously gets better, which is what you want from the signs you want from someone who is going to be probably our next world champion, one way or another, Josh injury or not. So good stuff from Maclin here. But Kaz always throwing in one word and over-accentuating it, which just always pops me, man. If it's not turd or something of that nature, this time it's just Steve. And I was like, Steve. I was weak, dude. I couldn't. Oh, man. So Kaz, 20 years of doing the same shit and still gets me, man. All
you had to do was say dude's name, and then how Maclin tried to throw it back at the end, like Frankie.
Yeah, Rich. Yeah, it was nicely done, man. But what a good moment. And I like these, man. I just remember a lot of TNA shit. I love that stuff. But speaking of TNA shit, X Factor.
Josh Alexander.
What's that?
Critical Sting says she was trained by Josh, and I was like,
oh shit, okay.
Alexander.
Well, that's a damn good sign.
Telling you. They
did need now that Taya left. Well, you kind of need a woman for that. And Ashley maybe went to AEW. All right. Canada lives on. But we have X Factors next up, and Trey Miguel is gonna defend against wasn't open challenge, but Santino's picked opponent. Rumor has it that it was supposed to be Yuya. Yuya will make an appearance, but maybe not still ready to go on a match, straight up match. So they announced Lince Dorado, and this is my first time since 2013, honestly, watching a Lince Dorado match since the last time he was in Impact. I'm not gonna lie, and he's out there like a Hugh Hefner lucha guy, and I don't know much about him, but you could tell he feels his own shit. Yeah. Lince Dorado, if I know nothing else after this match, he feels himself, man. But him and Trey have a match here. I thought it was good. I watched it back again because at first I thought it just didn't get momentum. It felt like a match where they were trying to keep him even, which it seems to be. He pulls out a quick Frankensteiner into a pin for the 1-2-3, and that's probably the story they're trying to tell. Bring a guy in once, have him not lose in a definitive fashion. Thank you for coming in, and we'll go from there. But I will say this, regardless of anything else, if he stays or not, so cool to have a luchador of some kind in Impact again. We had Tigre Uno, who was our little gem there. They tried with Sangrieno, which was a shame on you, Eric Bischoff, for putting Amazing Red in that damn gimmick, but I digress. Your thoughts on this X-title match?
I mean, with the luchador, too, I also give love to Laredo, you know what I'm saying? Laredo's been kind of in and out. He's been the Eddie Edwards of the X Division as far as just chilling, you know what I'm saying?
Taru's technically, too. That's shame on me, so.
And I think he just came back from injury, or should be on his way back.
Yeah.
Couple with Lince, he's like I like the lucha lit thing, but like how he was coming out with the damn Hefner robe on, should have just called him the Lucha of Love, because like he just looks like he's just trying to swag everybody's chick and do Hurricane Ranas in the bedroom.
Yeah. He was pulling out the Michelle Pfeiffer Batman Returns. He was cleaning himself and shit. Rubbing up on Trey. I said, damn, this guy's committing, man. Good for him.
And for that alone, I kind of fuck with it.
Right?
I'll allow it. You know what I'm saying? And then anytime there's more luchadors in the X division is happiness.
I'm there with you, man. And Trey's on another level. Trey's just, he leveled up. This character is exactly what he needs to be to make that next step, and we'll see where he goes. I'm hoping still we get a Filthy Rascals, but we'll see. Next up is the aforementioned Big Teats and Slapjack. They're going to have a backstage promo. And man, they kind of shit on the Bullet Club enough to where Tom and Matt have to explain the hate later before the match begins on commentary. But I digress. The size difference here is, this is like Varsity Club versus the Rockers or something, which is, it's a throwback. And watching it again, even though the size, it's hard to work that kind of I mean, these are two big motherfuckers, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure.
Against Ace and Bay, who, of course, all love to them. I thought it played maybe a hand at the end. Same with Trey and Lince. Didn't feel like it got it, a full footing, but I thought that it was still a damn good match. And watching it the second time, I was even more sold. It was just that finish, I think, was like, oh man, didn't come together or whatever it was. He didn't take the fold the right way, but anyways.
Yeah, the fold was a little not foldy.
Yeah. It wasn't fluid. I think that's what. But once again, we're having an outside tag team against a foundation piece tag team, and the same with Trey with Lince. We're bringing in people who don't have natural chemistry. So I thought maybe that played into it.
I mean, shit, for some people who don't have that natural chemistry, though, like, they put on damn good matches up until the end. Yeah. So I ain't really got too much on it. I fuck with Bad Dude Tito, like I said, once again, just because that's a fire name, Bad Dude Tito.
Dude, he looks like the love child of Wrath and Dr. Death Steve Williams. Like, if you just mush them together, I was like, what is this guy? And man, he's a legit, he is a throwback wrestler. I like this dude. Yeah, man, and that's why I always like going back and watching these. Sometimes, especially in a 3-hour pay-per-view where you're like, you got lulls, or maybe the crowd isn't carrying you, and you're just watching some things you kind of miss, or you take the ending and I always go back and watch things, and this one was a banger that I'm glad I went back and watched. Next up was the Busted Open match. There's a lot into this, but we're gonna hit it all kind of quick, and then we'll say our piece on it, just to save on time. Plus, much better than the last Busted Open thing. And I thought this actually, for what it is, and I don't know if I want to put what I said with PCO and that Monsters Ball thing here, but if you give smart people some, I don't say crutches, but gimmicks, they're going to make it work. And I thought this was entertaining from beginning to ending. Once again, was a little weird, but then they made face for it. Bully Ray's picking up the win with shenanigans. My comparison to this before I run through it was Hogan Sting 2011 Bound for Glory that I had to go to in Philadelphia, where it's like you got these two iconic people that represented WCW, right? And everyone's behind it, and oh, look at it. Kind of like Sting with Cactus Jack, that match, or Mick Foley for the title. It's like, it looks cool. I'm all for it because the nostalgia. And the same here. But I like that at least in this match, they gave him some things to hide behind, so it wasn't the Immortal, all that weirdness or whatever. So for that, I liked how they booked this. The crowd was still into it. ECW chants never ends. It doesn't hurt when you bring a belt in the ring. But yeah, the feed went wonky for a little bit before Bully's Hornswoggle splash, which was the moment. But he hits that Hornswoggle slash. Bully bleeds. Ref gets knocked out. Good hands come in. Ref up. Bully gets the win. And then Darren McCarty is his name, the hockey player. They let him in, and he goes through a table. Which is, we think that may be the spot. Oh, okay, we're going to end off on that. No. Music plays, and it's Coach D. It's the coach, man. And Scott, he brings the faces with him. Bully and them get, scared away. But Hotch makes the intelligent decision to pop back in the ring. And he gets a Canadian Destroyer for good measure. Thoughts on all of it all together? I know I'm trying to get it all in there. Oh, and kudos to Bully for the sell, by the way. Because he was, hurry up, da-da-da, being kind of a dickhead like he normally is. But as soon as he hit that Canadian Destroyer, he was shocked like shit, you know what I mean? And kudos to you, man. You said this was the end game that we're looking for, probably at Rebellion. Scott D'Amore versus Bully Ray. I think it's coming. Your thoughts on this whole thing?
Now, for those of y'all who may or may not be in the group chat on Twitter, you may or may not know I'm on the side because this is a very polarizing rivalry.
Fair, yeah.
The Bully Ray Tommy Dreamer thing. I'm on the side of the ones who don't enjoy it, who want it off the TV. That being said, when I went back and rewatched the show today and got to that match, it wasn't as bad as I expected it to be. And then also we need to start looking in the mirror on ourselves about complaining about Bully Ray, whoever wants to complain. Because people complain that he was in the Call Your Shot Battle Royal. part of the biggest moment of the night for that, with the kiss.
Mm-hmm.
And then that whole thing, the Josh match, you know what I'm saying? That was Josh at a different level of emotional distress because of Bully Ray, and then everything that happened in the match at Hard to Kill. And then here we come here to this match, and Bully gets Darren McCarty, hockey legend, in the ring through a table. So he gets physical. Then Coach comes back, and then with the Canadian Destroyer, crowd loses their shit. So we probably need to look at ourselves in the mirror about Bully Ray a little bit and start to admit some things.
Look, you know, I'm not for nostalgia. Well, I obviously am. I'm a sucker for nostalgia when used right. I'm talking about IP, things of that nature, all that great stuff. It was a hard sell at first with the feud in general, right? Because the thing for me, and that was the crutch I always said when to people when they were complaining about the Collier style, when they're complaining about that, is look at all the highlights of what Bully's done and look at who else is in that highlight. It's a Josh. It's a Good Hands. It's a Masha. It's a Mickie, but, you know, whatever. And then eventually you can't say that anymore because, or it was Bhupinder. There's been people. Now in this feud, it's a Tommy. So how do you know, so for that little part, last No Surrender, I was on that board of just, come on, man, let's end this. But you get this, which is the perfect wash your hands of it. Look, you got to pay to play. Busted Open and the rub we're getting from them is pretty damn good. They have a much larger audience. Let's call spade a spade. At the same time, I don't think there was a point in this until Bully versus Tommy hit that anyone was, well, I mean, there were people, but you're still like, got to take into consideration all the cats that he worked with to do this, all the moments. I don't know. I just feel like in the 6 months run he had here, there are 80+% of it is fire.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, is he going to go out there and have a 25-minute banger? No, but he even said that in his promo. He knew he couldn't beat Josh at Hard to Kill on a 1-on-1 30-minute classic. He can't do that anymore. But he's going to utilize what he can still do, which is get crowds into it, bring some drama to stuff, get some meat on the bones of storylines and promos and stuff, and that's what he's done, man. So whoever's still, people got to chill, but I understand also the flip side of, well, who young is he lifting in this storyline? So what do we get out of it? Yes, we didn't get it last month, but we sure as hell got it at Sacrifice with the Canadian Destroyer and all the people that were involved, man. So, yeah, you know, look, it is what it is, but I thought it was a pretty damn cool moment. The crowd ate it up, and I think we're going to get one of those fun, I don't know what it is called, special attraction matches at Rebellion with these two.
And also, we might be, another benefit from Bully, we might get a future tag teams, like a star tag team down the road in the Good Hands, you know what I'm saying? Because, like, I mean, they're a tag team, yeah, but they're just henchmen, really, for right now. So, like, you know, let's just see what happens after this heat dies down and all the other nonsense. Maybe we could add the Good Hands as another, thanks, Bully Ray.
Yeah, like, look, even if I said that before, you know, and some of this is redundant, but it just, these dudes, these two, the Good Hands, and this isn't anything to them, but what were they doing prior? So putting them together, getting them on TV on the regular, and being around someone like Bully Ray, who's a 2-time Impact champion, it's not a bad place to be. So either way, they're getting the rub. I don't know.
Also,
yeah,
that's another 3-man team for my fantasy trios Impact Tag title.
Oh, man, I don't know about another title to book, but it makes sense based on the roster and how it's built. But, man. Either way, I thought it was a cool segment. It seems like a big talked about segment. And the story in which they told and the pacing of it for what it was, a busted open match, I thought was pretty good. Not always, I never like the wiping the blood thing, but that is what it is. Next up is going to be the main event where we get Kaz, Swan, and Maclin. I'm going to rush through this one because it kind of plays into what we're going to talk about as our one hot topic before we run down Multiverse and say goodbye. But Time Machine's going to pick up the win, and the most important part of this, besides that it's Go watch it. You know these 6 involved, you're going to have a fun-ass match, and what a great way to end the night, man. And this is one of the reasons that the tinfoil hat comes on, because Maclin being part of this, it just seems perfect to be the person to take that quick L and tap, because he's self-preservating for the match. I just thought that was so cool. Now, on the flip side, you can say, well, if Josh was here too, this could be the start of the heel turn for Josh, and he could have tapped quick too to self-preserve, and that's where the seed begins. But whatever it was supposed to be, or whatever it was going to be, this was damn good. Time Machine gets the win, and we got a banger to end the night.
Yeah, the Maclin tapping out thing is most definitely controversial, regardless of how you want to look at it, either kayfabe or not.
Wait,
it just makes you. It makes you say what?
People were shitting on that?
No, it's just you're looking at the number one contender, the guy that's been built for like the better part of a year and a half now, and then he taps out. You know what I'm saying? If you're looking at it, if you're gonna look at it purely kayfabe, that's gonna raise a lot of doubt on whether or not Maclin can do it when it's time. Especially like he taps out to this guy now, who's to say he won't tap out to him.
Even commentary said he said, was this, did he get to him, or was it self-preserving? I think that's the seed they're planting. I think this is 100% that he did it. He was walking away. He didn't sell it. He didn't get on the ground afterwards. He walked away and got yelled at by his teammates. And I think that's the way. I think it's completely kayfabe. Well, obviously it's completely kayfabe. He's not tapping because it's hurting. But I think it's completely part of the storyline. And I think if Josh was there, it would have been the same ending.
Yeah, it would have hit better, harder, if it was Josh and he tapped.
Because that isn't as it's questionable in the sense of kind of why he's doing it compared to alluding to why he's doing it. Because why would Josh, who's been a killer champion this whole time, tap so quick unless he's trying to preserve himself for a multitude of madness? I feel you there. So it does bring that question up, but I think that's one of those things where I'll say pause, wait to Impact this week, and I'm sure they'll explain it, because I'm sure we're going to get Frankie and Swan confronting him again, saying, I know you tapped because you're trying to save yourself, and he'll probably admit it. I hope he does. I think that'll be good. But let's get into, before we get too much into Josh and where we think the world title goes, what did you guys think of the show? Everyone's saying great main event. The lock is no joke. Maclin had to live to fight another day. Yeah, I'm agree with you there.
That is facts.
But what did you think? I put it at a B. I'm on a B. This kind of month and a half's been a B all around for me.
I think I might have put this show at a B. I know for sure the Impact from Thursday, I put that as a D. I had little D energy when it came to Impact on Thursday. Okay. Not gonna lie. It just wasn't it. I don't know. I just wasn't rocking with the matchups. It was the matchups that they had on Thursday's show that I wasn't rocking with. Pay-per-view kind of brought me back. I think I gave it might have been a C or a B.
Okay, so I went with B on this one. What did you guys think? I think for a lot of things going on, there's never a level that Impact goes below. I don't, no matter how, I just never, maybe, I don't know, I won't get into all that. There's sometimes, but I think it hit the level despite what everything was going around, and some really nut punches earlier in the day or the day before that really could have hurt the momentum for this. They had some good moments and overall continued the story that we're about to tell. And before we get too further in that, we already kind of too much further in that. We talked about Mickie and where we kind of think what's going to happen with Belly. And we think she's going to be okay. Then it'll be a three-way. Perfectly tells the story of Jordan and her, because she should have been just facing her straight up and not having all these matches in between, but she did. And also has Masha back in it after playing all there. I was saying go home shows can be hard. Onwards to Multiverse United. We'll get to that in just a second ourselves. But the question I have is, so we've alluded to our thoughts here. I know we kind of are playing with the idea that Josh's injury we joke around a little bit, but could it be? We'll just put that part, we'll get that out of the way. Do you think it has anything to do with storyline, or 100% legit?
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna, sit here and try to clown on my man's health
No, of
and
course.
try to, be that fan that just looks at wrestlers as action figures. You know what I'm saying?
Right, of course.
But a couple things just don't. I don't know everything.
Right.
Obviously. So just from where my knowledge level is, some things don't make sense to me.
Yeah, I told you. I looked up the doctor online because it smelled funky to me at first too.
And then it's a little too poetic with everything, with how everything is falling down. Josh can't make sacrifice, so then Maclin steps in. You know what I'm saying? The story of Maclin saying, I didn't want to be here anyway, and then other things that involve information that I don't want to put out in the universe because spoiler free since '83. But just, I don't know, some stuff's just not sitting well with your boy.
Look, like I just said, I looked up the doctor just to make sure. I'm not calling anyone a liar. And look, at the end of the day, would they be messed up for doing this? No. I think anything you could do to tell a story, you tell a story. But I think we're more on the side of Impact had a story to tell. I think it was going to culminate from Rebellion to Slammiversary anyways. But it just, you have to question it. Besides, we won't get into everything else that we kind of know outside. But he's back in Canada. We know that. It meshed too well. So either it's the universe helping Impact out and like, okay, let's just flip this quick, let's make it work, and then we'll get ourselves to Slammiversary. Mind you, Josh's surgery, if everything goes well, is in the healing process. Surgery did go well. It's 6 weeks to 3 months full heal process. I don't know if this is the same thing Cody Rhodes went through or not. Was it? I don't know. But either way,
Josh is at what, tricep?
Oh, is that what it was?
I think it was a tricep. I know Cody was a full pec tear.
Oh, I thought Josh had a pec tear. No, either way.
I could have swore it was a tricep.
You're probably right. I don't know. But either way, I remember I looked it up. 6 weeks to 3 months, perfect for Slammiversary. Slammiversary is the celebration of our past, which is interesting. Josh opened that Pandora's box of TNA at last Slammiversary. Now, I see people saying, do you think they're going to screw over Maclin, yada, yada. There's an interesting thought that came in my head besides the conspiracy note of this. Because once again, we have to say this. Love Kushida, love Maclin, but Maclin beating Kushida at Rebellion in the main event just doesn't seem $40 worth. I don't know. And this is and I think it's just, maybe it's hapstance, maybe they had to go to that quickly, maybe that is what they're going to go with. But if that is what they're going to go with, Lucha came up with a very good idea. Do you want to do that? I thought it was when you texted me the day of basically, we don't main event it.
Yeah, for sure. We don't main event it. We give Rebellion, we give the knockouts the main, because, it's the knockouts. And then, especially if it ends up being Mickie, Jordan, Masha, that's a damn good main event to me. That's $40.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So then you can have Kushida and Steve Maclin go at literally any other point on the card. Match happens, banger, 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 blah, blah, blah. Boom, a group of people, maybe Canadian, come out and attack both Kushida and Steve Maclin, leave them both laying. Match gets thrown out. We don't have a champion. We try this again. Under Siege? That's the next joint also after Canada. Rebellion? So we tried again at Under Siege. Same outcome. Band of possible Canadians come out. But maybe at this point is when we get the reveal.
Okay. I was going to say, it's going to be hard to do that not champion, no champion, back to back to back. But I think they can push it to Slammiversary if they find a reason or way. I don't know if that's too far ahead. I'm with you on the fact that if they open the show with it, if they open Rebellion with the world title, and we get some people that hop up on the ring, but with no mask, maybe there's no reveal yet, I think that's definitely when we get our no DQ there, and what the hell is going on throughout the show kind of thing, and then we chef's kiss it at the end with a three-way with Mickie and Masha and Jordan, I'm all for it. Because then we're not, I don't know, we still go where we want to go. The reveal just happens to happen at Slammiversary. Do you think, that's the question I'll have for you then, do you think we could get away with not having champion declared at Rebellion, no champion declared at Under Siege, and then finally at Slammiversary?
It would have to be declared at Slammiversary, which was why I would say, I mean, depending on the timetable of recovery, if Josh can make it by Slammiversary, if he can make it by Slammiversary, then we do the reveal at Under Siege in May to set up.
Yeah, the main event of Slammiversary.
Exactly.
Okay, and that way, so you would, even though it's in Canada, would Josh be heel then?
It'll be the Bret Hart effect, the Bret Hart 97 effect. He's a heel in America, but as soon as you cross that border, they love the hell out of Josh Alexander.
See, that's the thing, and that's where the tinfoil hat comes off, because it's going to be hard to bring Josh back from a surgery that we're saying at this point is real, because it was, right? That's what we're going to say.
Yeah, it happened Friday.
Right, real injury. How is he not a face? Like, he's got to be the face everywhere, because this is our champion who held it down on the greatest world title reign, in my opinion, in history of this company. How do you boo him?
Also, I mean, you boo him because also, yeah, you got all that, but you also got this guy that they've been slow building and slow burning, and Steve Maclin, and the people love them some Steve Maclin. So, like, and we're anticipating his crowning moment. So then for us to take that crowning moment.
Yeah, I really agree with the Rebellion thing, because even as much as I love Kushida and as much as I love the rise of Maclin, him just beating Kushida doesn't tell me, like, Maclin finally did it, you know? And yes, you could call that back when Josh finally comes back and Josh can say, well, you're not the real champion and beat the real. Sure, easy peasy, cool. I just don't, I feel bad for Maclin in that situation. Once again, nothing on Kushida and nothing on him. It just, I want that moment for him. And I think pulling the rug out from him again, making that face turn even a little bit more, and then really taking chopping him at the knees when Josh does come back, I think that's perfect. I don't know how we get there. I don't get paid the big bucks, and they sure as hell don't pay us for our ideas here on the show. But either way, I think there's a lot of intrigue here. I still think Josh makes it back by Slammiversary, just like you said, just like with Mickie. We don't know when Josh's surgery, maybe it did just happen. I don't know. But let's see. Screwing Maclin over could bring about Team Canada. Yeah, that's still where we're headed, man, mentally. And that's still where our fandom wants this to go. But before that, we have to get to Multiverse of matches. Or United. Jesus. Multiverse United. And the card's looking different, my friend. But still entertaining. It's going to happen this 11 p.m. Eastern. This Thursday, we're going to have that live edition, which, once again, we need to keep getting these under our belts. They might not be fully live, but let's get some in the studio. Let's get the truck and all that working on live shows so we can get that under our belt. Because, once again, asshole almost threw my mouth in the first minute of the show. But so we're having Kushida with still an opponent, it seems, but no announcement yet. Have you seen anything on that?
For Multiverse?
Yeah.
No, honestly, I haven't
fully
drawn a blank on it.
Last I checked, it said question mark. So I know they have him still in the lineup, but it hasn't changed as far as who his opponent's going to be. So I'm interested in that. So we still get a Kushida match in general. Bayley versus Ospreay is out as well. And that is, but look, Ospreay fan, but I'm not going to complain on Tanahashi versus Bayley.
Oh, for sure. I'm with it.
Yeah.
1,000%.
You put that in the main event? Or Cobb
depending
versus
on what
Moose?
you do for Kushida.
Ah, fair. Okay, fair. Especially with him being number one contender B.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. But Tanahashi versus Bayley, which is awesome. Moose versus Cobb, which is going to be a banger, a slobber knocker, as JR would say.
That's big, meaty men slapping meat.
I was too in the treehouse to say it, and I was like, wait, this sounds weird, man. I was like, the other. I was watching the show, and when Maclin came out, I was like, damn, Maclin looks like a world champion. He's looking meaty. And my cousin's like, fuck you. I was like, I don't know.
What you talking about, bro?
Yeah, what are you talking about? I'm telling you. Next is the X Division Scramble. Trey going to that as champion. I think he remains. But Trey versus Clark Connors versus Frankie Kazarian versus Rich Swann versus Kevin Knight versus Rocky Romero. More than likely, Trey's going to come out of this. Would be interesting if they change it up with the Kaz or Swan pull here, man. But
given given current recent circumstances, if you want to build up the ultimate sweeping of the rug from up under him, maybe you do give Rich or Frankie an X title match. So then when Josh comes back. Hey man, we were supposed to be friends, man. But then my homeboy Speedball just comes and kicks you in the fucking face and takes the strap. It's like it's on Canada.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be a part of this that we need to still follow for our thing to come to fruition. Follow these breadcrumbs of who's gonna be the champions at the time when Josh comes back. Because if that's the formation, you're gonna want people to line up for Bayley and Josh and all of these people in the titles as well, so we could get that main event Mafia all gold look.
Real quick, what was the final score for the Canadians in Sacrifice?
3-2 for the Canadians. 3-2 for the Canadians.
Heck.
Homers. But yeah, no, interesting in there. I think it was Millard who just said it. I can't see. My eyes are... Yeah, it is Millard. Kushida versus Frankie. Maybe we pull Frankie out of the scramble and throw him up to there. That'd be good as well. I see a future match with them as well. Pun intended, but... We're also going to get, for the strong open weight belt, we're getting Kenta back on the screen, and he's facing Suzuki here, man. So this is going to be a New Japan straight-up match. But pretty damn exciting either way. Not going to complain.
I mean, doesn't Kenta have a shirt on Shop Impact?
He does. Check out Shop Impact, by the way. Have a lot of New Japan shirts. A lot of people scared, man, because AEW has announced their Forbidden Door 2, and everyone's thinking, I think New Japan just playing the game, man. They're just they're here to make money and get their name out there, so nothing to worry about here. But tag titles up next. We got the BC versus Aussie Open versus Motor City Machine Guns versus TMDK. I mean, what do you got to say about that? That's 4 tag teams. That reminds me of the days, man, and I know this isn't all these toys aren't ours, but British Invasion, Team 3D, Beer Money, you know, Motor City, when we had those 4, like, always in the loop. Good shit.
And, of course, the constant is still Motor City.
Yeah, still here. Yeah. Still,
and they're even better. And they're going to be here for a while because they re-signed.
Yes, man. Which is, look, I when you see these people sign or re-sign, it's... Not only is it cool just to, they signed, yay, awesome. Go read what they say when they re-sign or sign. In the case of Kylan King, in the case of them. Just quality stuff. Brian Myers even, of why would we want to leave? This is home, the locker. There's a lot of positives if you need a little reassurance of, hey, this company, does it believe in itself? They do, man. And check it out when you see people like Motor City Machine Guns talking about it, man. There's some that don't. But
you see Alex Shelley signing contracts.
Yeah,
this is Shelley's first contract in like forever.
Huh? Oh yeah. His first in like over. I forgot what he said. Over whatever amount of years, because you had other things, with outside of the world of wrestling. And that dude's like the Kyrie of Impact, man. He's gonna. You don't know what's gonna happen with him. So for him to sign and say he's signing an extension and saying it is a lot. But either way, that match is gonna be dope. KO match changes a little bit, but we get Masha, Diana, Giselle, and Yamashita. I mean, cool to have some New Japan flavor in there, Shimmer flavor. She Shimmer technically, right?
TJPW, whatever they are.
I don't know if they fully went in there. But I'm going Masha here. Not that we're predicting per se, but it makes too much sense.
I was going Miyu Yamashita, but once the change happened as far as Friday night, it kind of sent me into the direction of money match, main event, Masha. Yeah. So that's what I'm riding with. Although, I'm sticking with Masha.
Were you leaning Deanna for a second?
I was, but then I remember, there's still some unfinished business.
Same. Because I was like, oh man, Deanna Jordan. But hey, man.
But Giselle's in the match too, and you know what I'm saying, if it comes down to Giselle letting Deanna win versus losing the match, and Deanna, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get
I think she'll pick costing Deanna.
And once again, poetic. Mickie, Jordan, Masha. It just makes too much sense what's been going on from the last rodeo to the last few months.
From Bound for Glory with Jordan and Masha.
There you go. That as well. Oh yeah, there you go. Another tie. So it's a full perfect circle of the Knockouts world title picture. That's pretty cool. And then last but not least, we're getting a match of what do we got? Coughlin, Callahan, Rosser, and PCO versus Eddie Edwards, Hendry, Kratos, and Lawler. Don't know any. Oh, and then I know there was one on the pre-show. I think Yuya's getting a match, right?
I think so. I don't remember against who. As far as that 8-man goes, I mean, I'm hyped for Tom Lawler because I've been fucking with Tom Lawler since MLW.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? I'm hoping Yuya versus Gabriel Kidd is what we got going on.
Thank you, Critical Sting. Always coming in clutch.
Always.
Yeah, and then Rosser, yeah. I saw the graphic. I was like, John Cena's in this shit? But I forgot that he's in New Japan, man.
At least strong.
Look, I'm really excited for this either way, with Josh and Ospreay being off and looking forward to who they bring in for Kushida. And then, of course, Bailey versus Tanahashi is nothing to bat your eyes at. So I'm excited either way. For someone who only gets that 86 minutes of wrestling a week besides for their pay-per-views, I'm excited to have something to look forward to see it from a different perspective. I know what kind of commentating team we're getting on this, you think?
Oh man. Ray Walt does commentary for both. So I would imagine it would be, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't a 3-man booth with Ray Walt, Kelly, Tom, and maybe Kevin Kelly. Yeah,
that's
dope.
Oh yeah, that'll be worth it. But make sure you guys get it. It's on Fight, exclusively on Fight. Thursday after Impact, 1 hour, get a little hour in between there. But I hope you guys check it out and enjoy it. I'm excited for it, and then we can fully focus on Rebellion 2 weeks away. Mania weekend, Lawler about to show up in the smallest shorts possible.
Yeah, he does do that. I got a quick question before you say goodbye. How much do you think Mickey's injury changed Mercedes?
Oh, it's a good question. I don't know if I wanted to touch on that, but I alluded to a little bit because you have to think that there had to be something that from the get to change Masha's course. We both said that. There had to be a reason. We think it's Mercedes, and the things Mercedes saying adds up to it being that. The injury, if this wasn't the play all along, the injury's real, the booking changed, right? We're going to say that. I couldn't imagine, or had the booking not changed, Mickie would have beat Jordan? Okay. So then I still thought that we were going to go with that Gail Kim thing and Rebellion or do something of that nature and then bring out Mercedes. But with everything being announced between Forbidden Door 2 and I think Mercedes in a new match, I have no finger on the pulse right now. I have no breadcrumbs to follow. Because you would think it would make a lot of sense for her to come out at Rebellion, no matter if it was Gail versus Mickie or it was a 3-way or if it was just Masha versus Mickie. So it's possible, man. The Rebel is a beautiful arena. It'd be nice to have the beautiful Mercedes there. I don't know, man. I really don't have a finger on the pulse in that. What do you think? You think that it pushed it back? It never not's going to happen, and that's why the change is happening to begin with?
Well, I'm not going to say that I don't think it's going to happen because I still do believe there's a chance. I think just the trajectory is off a little bit because I fully expected, at least from my end, Sacrifice ending with Mickie, you know, being victorious.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't think she would have shown up, but at the very least we would have got like some sort of cool teaser promo, you know what I'm saying?
But do you...
And you can keep, I mean, and then you can keep the Mickie, Jordan, and maybe even Masha's story kind of living a little bit, and just have Mercedes kind of like in the rafters.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
There's
because she's not there.
I don't know, man. I think that's part of it as well. Is like, you know, fantasy booking, taking these guys not as action figures aside. I just don't think when getting back to the injury to kind of put all that together. I know we put the tinfoil hat on, and the same goes to this. I just don't think they change the card on Multiverse United or Sacrifice without these being legit. I want to make that apparent. I don't think they're in that position just to say, oh, let's work them all. I don't know. That's not what I feel. But I think if we have to look at it, if this is what they're doing on the fly, what makes the most sense, and they want that Mickie Mercedes eye to eye. Is that how she did? I don't know. I feel like that you want Mickie just winning. She's victorious. She's standing in there. Music hits. Eye to eye moment. Just like it was with Jordan and her in that dope ass Hard to Kill photo.
Sure.
So I don't know. I think that's where my head's at. I'm all over the place, but it's hard, man. It's hard because they're trying to, they're backpedaling. So things that seemed like this is where we're headed are no longer where they're headed, or it is, but 3 months down the road or not. So what do you guys think though?
When you think you had all the answers, right. We changed the questions.
Changed the game, man. Oh man. Good shit. It's fun having you here, man. Look, either way, for you guys, for myself as well, I think we have Rebellion to be Multiverse excited about as well, but I think they're not going to disappoint us with Rebellion. Even if the matches stayed the way they are, I think it's going to be a dope card. The arena's awesome, and I still think they have enough time to, if that was going to be the launching point for the new season of Impact or the new storyline arc, they could still do that. It's just going to have to be a little tweaking. So let's chin up. Let's hope for the best. And if this was a sign of, I enjoyed the show altogether. What did you guys think? Are you excited for everything that's coming? Are you nervous what's going to happen because of this? Or do you think it's just going to, for some reason, for the first time in forever, just work out for Impact? It's just going to all click and everything folds. We'll see. But you guys know the deal. Tune in this Thursday for that live-ish episode that leads us into Multiverse United, including the Kenta vs. Josh match, which do not miss that. I think they're still airing it. How they work it in, I don't know. But either way, you could check Lucha. Thank you to Lucha for obviously appearing here. Comes back after every pay-per-view show. But you can catch him Tuesday on GoGoPowerRankings. And if you want to join at BurtMaclin11 or at TNAIWChannel or at SaveMe_RSK17. Fuck it, right, Lucha? Let's go.
And y'all download those TNA Impact arenas and belts that I made on WWE 2K23 #ImpactTNA. And you'll get the whole list of belts I've made and the arenas I've made so far, with more to come. I just did No Surrender and Sacrifice, and they're up live too. Nice.
You guys saw them in the Tron. I forgot to mention it, but all those, there you go. All that beauty down there is via Lucha. Go check that out. Download that forum. Download. Check out GoGoPowerRankings as well while you're at it. Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern here on the TNAIW channel. Thank you guys. I'll see you next Sunday. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. Button.
Me.